He was a good boy. He never sat down with a bag of cocaine. Well, she can do and come and go as she wants and have a good life with that man. That man didn't use my sister for a breathing machine like the way you were feeking me in the back of the van. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? That man respected my sister. She had two lovely children from. Do you know he told her? We've a gentleman's family, Martin. I used to slag him and tell him to his mouth. My sister had a lot of children. He said, I know my sisters could rear them. No, he tell me, I wouldn't put my wife through that again. That's the reply war to give me. Now that's when we be slagging. I have good respect for him. I love him because he's my brother-in-law. He's a good one. He never broke that McDonaghs' heart. Do you understand me? But by Jesus, it comes to a bad day, and a bad day that my family won't listen to me for once in their life. That's what drove my mother to the clay. Watching him across the road drinking 7 days a week with you. By Jesus, he'd buy you the drink. You'd push him aside if you had a problem. You'd send bags of drugs to Castlereagh to get my brother cut up. I see the scars my brother's wearing over ye. I see the way he's fucked up around me. Over ye. But by Jesus, I hope someday your bastards will break your heart the way my poor mother's heart was broke with ye. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? As I told you last night, Tommy McDonagh and Winnie McDonagh, we had money when you were selling rotten chocolate. So give up selling the old children the drugs in Galway, because the Texas is on you big time in Galway, and there's a lot of you that want to put away. And with the evidence I give them, they told out at me. Are they fair with me or not? The detectives in Galway at the minute. They're going around with the white sheep. She carries a camera. Are they fair detectives in that in Galway? And they seem to carry on to ye. And the way you've the town gone now. Are they fair detectives or not? When they taught me, and they bring them in the feature, we allow you, Martin. They wouldn't call me Susie, detectives, and they know I'm called Susie. My own children are calling me Susie. The social workers could tell me that. That I queer how'd you do? Over ye. Them detectives is giving me permission to beat them in the cell when they get them in the doors, behind the doors. And they can't go behind them doors till I bring the evidence to the door. We're working on it. We're working on it a long time. You're on high. The Texas and Galway is behind your back. They're watching every move. They're afraid you rape another child. Because I told them the way how nice you are and the way you play ball. Very nice. Give anyone a few pound ye would. Ye'd ride what'll come in front of ye. And ye know that. Because I slept with a good few of ye. And it's about time I stand up. And my marriage is gone. My children are gone. And my lovely father and mother is in Bournemore. 2 young people. And the maggots is eating them. And ye'd walk around the road laughing at me. The day ye ever laughed at me and smirk around me is the day you'll cry for many's the day. Because I have it in board for ye, the evidence. And once I have the evidence, I can put them in to rape me behind bars. And you'll have to wear the shame. Do you understand me? So we label detectives, you're the working class people. Bring my story to the 4 courts. That other little traveller youngsters can turn around and say the same thing about you. That you're that way inclined. Because I know good for you to sleep with one another. So don't have me to break ice. Because I'll break divorces tonight, never mind ice. Trust me when I tell you, the women ye got was thrown away with you. They were too good for you. Rope as she should have get up the road. You got good women. You had no respect for them. I know it. I was long enough around you. I know how you treat women. Every woman you came here road, you'd give them a table and a stall to work. And you'd have the name of carrying a bag of money. I'll have the name of carrying a bag of money out of ye when I put you away. You won't buy Martin Susie that easy. Think what you done to my mother. I listened to her in her dying bed. And I can't accept it. I'll never accept it. And I'll never leave this world till I put them paedophiles behind the cells where they have to go. Where the other fella is. You know what I'm on about. You know what remember when you walk into my father if you had a problem, you tell him for his mouth helps. He'd no fighting men. Of course I told Dad 101 times, but will you let me out to them? Just give me Mary Teresa's 2 sons. They have all the army out, but you wouldn't have it that way. We were prepared to kill you. You wouldn't wear that shirt. All you were giving people, you were the boss. You boss Tom McDonagh's family. You'll never walk over me. I have evidence, and big evidence on you. You're going behind bars. For every day my brother done in Castlereagh, my mother cried. She even carried drugs to Castlereagh prison for him. That's how much she loved her son. Now that's how I can tell you how much my mother loved my brother. When she carried a drug to Castlereagh for him, behind my father's back. He was her oldest son. And you know the night she died? I want you to know this. I think you have a right to know this. Because maybe when you hear this, you mightn't sleep. I want you to know, the night my mother died, do you know whose arms she died in? I was there. I was trying to top the bed, it was no good. This woman wasn't going. I begged God to take my mother that day, to have rubbish like you coming around the house looking at my mother dying that way. No way. We were too clever for you. We're too old-fashioned for you people. My mother wore a clean gown. So her clean gown had to go to the graveyard Bournemore with a clean knickers on it. So it wasn't up to Mr. Keneally to wash my mother. She had 4 good daughters, and the 4 daughters went in. And you know the way my mother protected me for years? I protected her that night, the night she died. Because why? Do you know when you'd have the fella coming through the door, sorry for your troubles? They'd walk in, tap me dead mother. They'd walk in, her gowl they'd want to look at. And I was a bad judge of them. I was at that door, and I wouldn't allow no one to go in there when my mother died. Why? Because my mother had pride. And you know in her dying bed, do you know in her dying bed when you were laughing up and down the road and you're driving up our way? You were giggling when you heard Cack was dying. You were giggling up our way. Remember the morning you put me? Remember my poor mother wasn't gone to God 4 hours when you were at our front door. He had guns, but you had no bullets. You were fighting people, but you had no bullets. You were looking for an old fool, give him a bag of Horrand, like you were doing to Hampton for years. Hampton told me there was a queer lad of ye he ran up and down the stairs in Castlereagh. The old screws down there, he'll tell you a story about ye people. They told how my brother rocked Castlereagh when you were in it. Just remember one thing, you never got into the houses in Castlereagh. Hampton got into it. When he'd see ye coming, he called the governor, here, hello. Bro, him taught me I kept him stone dead. Out you go. And by Jesus, my poor mother waited up for many nights. Did you ever hear that song? There's an old college waiting in the country, waiting for that boy to come home. Well, that was her oldest son. That was the boy she was waiting for. That was her old. She had him before she had me, for God's sake. He was her oldest son. And when it offered to tell you, against my father and against she, we still brought him in. We wouldn't go by your rules. We still brought him to our house. And little do ye know, I watched my mother die, but the part I missed, the part where she left her last breath go. And you know who she gave that last breath to? And it all makes sense now, when I do be thinking. She gave it to our Tom. And the day she gave birth to him, the day of his birthday, she died.